Hi there, everybody. How you doing? My name is Tyrone Pillay, and I will be interviewing Danny from Argentina today. A really cool and exciting interview. Somebody who I met many years ago back in 2014. So please listen out, and I think you're going to learn a lot about the two of us, more Danny than you will about me. So I'm just waiting for her to connect on, and as soon as she does that, we're going to go live. Hello.
Hola.
Hola, amigo.
Hola, feliz día. Día tiene vivo. That's my roommate calling her dad because it's Father's Day here.
Oh, okay. Just tell her dad I said happy Father's Day.
All right, thanks.
So, firstly, it's so awesome to have you. You know, you're one of my favorite people. You know that.
Oh, thanks.
So
You are too.
it's really good. And let's start by you introducing yourself to everybody, so everybody gets to know who you are.
Okay, I'm Daniela Gimenez. I'm a paraswimmer from Argentina. I'm 27 years old, and I started in the national team when I was 14, so I was very little. I started on 2007 at the Paralympian Games in Rio, and then I qualified to go to Beijing, and so I did Beijing, London, and Rio, and hopefully next year Tokyo, if that ever happens.
Oh, wow. Look at you. You're such a seasoned pro. I feel like such a wet behind the ear kid. I've only done one Paralympics compared to you.
No, you're huge. You're amazing, and you're a medalist. I'm still waiting for that.
Like I always say, you're not defined by the medals, right? It's about the character and the legacy that you have. And you already got that. So I'm proud of you for that. So you don't worry about it.
You're great. You're amazing. Thanks.
So firstly, it's great to see you. Haven't seen you in a long time. You look younger, by the way. I don't know what the secret is, but you're looking younger. So when you're saying 27, I don't believe the 27 part. You're lying about the 27. As you can see, I'm getting gray.
I know.
It's old age.
The video earlier.
So I wanna do something. I want you to answer some questions for me, right? I haven't like planned anything as such, but I just got some questions that I wanna like throw at you, and then you can answer them. So the first question is, what's your favorite color?
Red.
Okay. I was gonna say blue, but anyway. What is your worst swim stroke?
A backstroke. I suck at it.
I was gonna say breaststroke. Okay, jeez. I'm out two already. What's your favorite car?
My favorite car.
Yeah.
That would be
to
like
drive.
Some sort of Jeep.
Jeep. Okay. Can't see such a small person in Jeep, but yeah, that could work.
But you know,
who's your?
I'm huge inside. Like it's.
Oh yeah, you're like a lion. You're a lion. People mustn't be deceived by your size. You're an absolute lion. Who would be your role model or role models?
Oh, that's so hard. I don't know. I think I take bits of every person around me, and try to.
Okay, good. Now this is the hardest question, right? Definitely, this is the hardest one. Who would be the two favorite people in the Paralympics that you'd like to hang out with to have a party?
That would be you for sure. And I think I'll have to put Felipe. He's my best friend. So Felipe,
Yo,
swimmer from Brazil.
I think that's a dangerous combination. Yeah. You got two South Americans and a South African. There's definitely going to be a problem there.
Well, you already know the three of us work very well together.
Next one. How tall are you?
I don't know it because I do it in meters, so I'm 1 meter 58 centimeters.
Okay, so you are currently 33 centimeters shorter than me.
Just not that.
Just a little. It literally. Wait, hold on. I actually have a ruler in front of me, so it's
just that.
That much. That's not too bad.
No, I'm not that small.
And then the last one, if you could live anywhere besides Argentina, where would you want to live?
Oh, that's so hard. Because I want to live in so many places. Like to live in, but I want to go to, like, I want to go around the world. I think I think I would love Italy.
Okay. I think the next time we have a tournament, we're going to go to Italy and we're going to see what it's like, right?
Hopefully, because this year I was meant to go to a competition in Italy, and it was late February. And as soon as we got there, we had to come back because this whole.
Oh, yes, I remember you told me that. Yeah. I was due to be in Italy, I think in May, I think it was, and obviously that competition was cancelled, so that was it. So unfortunately, the circumstances are what it is. But obviously, going forward, I mean, things are going to get better. Things are already starting to look up for a lot of countries and a lot of people around the world. So we got to be positive around now. And that's why we're talking, because we're going to bring some positivity to everybody. We're going to bring some energy to everybody. And we're going to make them realize how amazing it is to be a part of the Paralympics.
Yeah.
So the first thing that I want to ask you is, what's the best part for you of being part of the Paralympics? And what have you learned from the Paralympics?
Oh, the whole movement, like, formed me in my life. Like this person, I started when I was 14. I was so young, and I do love competing, but I think it made me love myself and to look at my disability as my greatest asset. You know, it's like the best thing in my whole body is just this little guy here. And
yeah,
I think I've learned how to love myself and how I came to this world through sports, through Paralympics. And the other thing that I absolutely adore about this whole thing is just having friends all around the world, and just like, even with you, like I see you, I don't know, once a year, and every time I see you, it's like a massive hug, and it's like we just saw each other yesterday.
Yeah, I'm just a big teddy bear.
That's right. You are a big teddy bear. So yeah, I think those are the two most valuable things for me in the Paralympics.
You know, you're so right in what you're saying. I mean, for me personally, it took me 29 years to accept my disability. It took me a long time to realize who I was. And that's what the Paralympics did for me. It made me a better person. It made me realize who I was. And like you're saying, it develops you, makes you better. And that's the most amazing thing of all, is that each one of us takes time to figure it out. Obviously, you were lucky. You figured it out much earlier. I was a lot older when I figured it out, but it's never too late. So find your purpose, find your goals, and just work towards it.
Exactly. It's never too late. Like, I mean, as long as you can learn who you are and accept yourself and love yourself for it, and just work towards whatever goals you have, because maybe it's just like sports. Sometimes there are a lot of people with disabilities that don't get to be a Paralympian, but like, just sports is like the vehicle to just work yourself and put yourself together to get to your actual goals. So I think that sports are incredible for people.
Sport has a massive place in the world. I mean, you can learn so much from it. I think it teaches you discipline. It teaches you a lot. And it's things that you can apply into everything that you do in your life, whether you're doing sport, whether you're working, your family life, whatever it might be. And I think that's the important thing, is people need to understand what you learn in sport is just tremendous. So yeah, I'm glad at 27 years old, you've found yourself and you've understood so much more, which is amazing. I mean, let's be honest, many 27-year-olds are still trying to figure all of that out. You've done really well to get this. Well done to you, and I'm proud of you for that.
Thanks. I think sports also make you, like, kind of force you to grow up a lot earlier than regular people doing like normal lives. I was 15 years old and I was already having the responsibility of having a job, because this is what I do for a living. And I was still in high school, and all of my friends were just going out and hanging out every afternoon, while I was waking up super earlier to go to swimming practice in the morning before school, and after school in the afternoon, and just stuff like that kind of like, you understand it before everyone else when you're in sports, because you have to grow up a lot
it's a mindset you have to now develop into somebody totally different. So totally get that. So before we came on, you were telling me a story about your hand, right?
Yeah.
So can you tell us the story about your hand? Firstly, tell us the name of your hand.
Well, the name of my hand is Wusa. The name of my no hand, let's say, the name of my left one is Wusa.
Yeah.
It's really cold right now. Look at this. Well, when I was very young, I honestly don't remember when it happened, because it's called like ever since I have memory. I don't know. It's Gusa. It's always been like that. So me and my friends used to call it that way because gusano means worm in Spanish. So when we were little, it was like, oh, it looks like a little worm. So, and it moves around like a little worm. Like, the short worm, it was like gusano gusa. So yeah, that's how it's called. And it's honestly.
So I shouldn't be screaming worm when I see you the next time, right?
Love it.
Okay, good stuff. If you didn't have to do swimming, right? What other sports would you do besides swimming?
I don't know. I'm a very sporty person, and when I was growing up, I did a lot of other sports. I did gymnastics for a few years, well, for many years actually, until I was like 15. And I did artistic yoga as well. I loved it.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
You need to post something on that. You need to post a yoga pose for us or something. Come on, man! You got to
right now. There's no way I can pull something out right now. But no, I would love to learn how to surf.
Okay, so how's this for a deal? You learn to surf. You come here and you stay by us because I'm right on the beach, yeah. And you can surf as much as you want out here, right? How's that for a deal?
Love this. Yes. Thank you for this.
Great.
That's my first.
I'm gonna start learning how to surf as soon as I get a water leg.
Really?
Yeah.
Cool.
So you, myself, and Felipe, I think we go out and try and surf, right?
Felipe tried to teach me once. We went on a holiday in Costa Rica in 2016, and well, he rented a board and because he wanted to surf, and but he's not patient enough with me.
that we know. That we've established.
So it was like a 15-minute lesson, and then he was like, "Oh, go away, I'm surfing," and he just left. So we can't trust him on teaching us.
Okay, so I'll just get you a proper instructor. How's that for a deal?
Love it.
Great. Have you been following any of the stuff recently regarding the U.S. Open tennis and the inequality regarding wheelchair athletes? Have you seen any of that?
I have.
I've been a bit vocal about that. I think it's a bit unfair, to be totally honest with you. I think we need to get to a point where we all get treated equally. I know as much as we don't want to admit it, the world is not fair and the world is not equal at this moment in time. And I think we need to start realizing that we all have a voice. We all have to stand up together against this fight. And I think there's a huge inequality at the moment in parasport in particular. I mean, I'm sure you've experienced it firsthand through sponsorships, through all sorts of things, and I'm saying with me. I mean, how do you feel regarding inequalities in parasport as to able-bodied sport?
Well, it is huge. I also think I always try to be positive about it because there's a lot that it has been done. So it's not like we're in, I don't know, point zero, there's a lot of going on, and there's a lot more exposure to Paralympic sports, cool mug. But yeah, there's still a long way, and we have to make ourselves like being heard, because now I'm pretty sure, I don't know if they already came to a decision, but I know that in the US Open, all the para athletes, all the para tennis players, they had a meeting and they are trying to include it, put it back again. So that happened because athletes just
Stood up, spoke up. Exactly.
Yeah, what we need to do, and I think it comes with also trying to, in everyday life, just try to change this perception of what being disabled means and what having a disability and having to live with a disability means. So just normalize it. This happens, and it can happen to anyone in any point of their life. So it's just when people try, because there's sometimes people treat me when they realize I don't have a hand, it's like suddenly I don't know why they connected with maybe I have like they need to speak slower to me, or I'm not going to understand what they're saying, like in Spanish. And it's like, dude, I'm missing a hand. That's it. And
but it's also a mindset that gets created. You know, it's a complete discrimination of people. You know, for example, I look at myself, right? I don't think that there's anything disabled about me, and I'm pretty sure you're the exact same. I mean, I've been around you and I know how you are. There's nothing disabled about you, but it's the word that gets created because that's what the world has called us. And I don't have a problem with it. I mean, at the end of the day, if that's what the world wants to call me, but I don't live that way. I'm differently abled in so many ways, and so are you, and so are everybody else that we follow around the Paralympics and around the world. We all are differently abled, and I think that's the biggest message that we need to get home, is that we can do everything if we put our mind to it. And that's what's so amazing about Paralympics, is that it shows that to people. It shows people what you can do and how amazing you can be. And I mean, I'll give you a personal story. I could never swim, right? So I went to the swimming trials and I saw a girl swim with just one limb. She only had one leg. And I said, what's my excuse? Why can't I do this? Within 12 weeks, I learned how to swim. I was swimming a breaststroke in 32 seconds for 50 meters. So what's the bottom? Yeah, for a fairly big guy, I think that's not too bad, right?
Not at all.
But my point again, it was what the world called us. The world called it disabled. So I immediately in my mind, I said, I can't swim. And then you see somebody who can do it. It inspires you and motivates you. And that's the message of the Paralympics, is that we inspire and motivate people to do better. Not just people that are disabled, but I think people across the world. As soon as you see the Paralympics, you realize what the Paralympics is all about.
Exactly. And it's just like the worst thing that someone can do to someone with a disability, because at the end of the day, that's the world. That's it, done. But the worst thing you can do to someone with a disability is just to like minimize them to that disability. Like, he's missing a leg, she's missing a hand, or whatever it is. And it's just like limiting someone because they have a big nose, or I don't know, it's too tall or too small. It's like, it's stupid.
No, you're right, 100%.
One characteristic of a whole person. And that's something that I see that happens a lot, that in society, it's like it's kind of like constantly convincing you that you're not able to do a lot of stuff. And suddenly, like even in the street, because if there's not a ramp in the corner of the side path, they're telling you you're not able to cross the street. If you go to a restaurant and the restrooms are in the second floor, they're telling you you're not able to pee. Like when you're going out, it's just, it's crazy, because people without a disability don't realize until they have to face it themselves.
But
and it's
that's 100%. I suppose that's the biggest challenge. Is that when you don't face something and you're not experienced with it firsthand, you don't realize the impact of it.
Yeah, and then suddenly when you go to a Paralympics and you actually see people with a lot of disabilities compete and do what they do and just force themselves and push those limits away, and then suddenly, I don't know, you're watching a basketball wheelchair game and you see someone just falling off their chair and just no one even helping them, and they're just coming back up and keep on playing. It's like nothing stops them. Nothing stops them.
Exactly.
It's
you know, obviously my first games was Rio, right, 2016. And when I got there, I mean, I am completely different in a lot of ways. You know, for me, people, it's a big thing. I love people. I love being around people. I love learning from people. It's something that I like doing.
And we were going towards, and I mean, you remember the distance to get to where the buses were. It was quite a distance. So when I got there, there was a girl in a wheelchair, and there was nobody to help her up the ramp. And me being me, I just put my stuff down and I run up, push her up the ramp, leave her at the top, run back down, get my bag, and I jump onto the bus. So it was just that, right? You know, every day after that, I saw her. She was from China, and she greeted me and thanked me every single day after that. And for me, that was amazing. That was the most profound moment, because you've impacted somebody in a little way, and we might not realize it, but it just shows them that somebody cares about them, and that's the most important thing. That's the message. I mean, when you walk around and you see stuff, I mean, I saw a girl eating salad with her feet, and she had no arms, right? And I promise you, I'm so amazed by that, because I drop and spill all the time, and then you have her who's never done it, and it makes you realize so much about yourself and makes you learn and appreciate what we have.
Yes, exactly. That's what I always tell my friends. Like, even myself, having lived with a disability my entire life, I am amazed of some people that I see at the Paralympics. Like, my parents went to London and Rio. Rio was my entire family. It was amazing. And I brought them inside the village and I showed them around. And even them that lived with me and they know my friends and they've been to other competitions, they were like, they couldn't believe it. And they were so inspired, and it's such an incredible environment. And then suddenly, like, you pushing someone in a wheelchair, like needing help, it's not telling her that she can't. It's just watching someone that needs help and just going and helping. It's just like, just like holding the door open for someone to see their comfort.
Exactly. 100%. You know, just to know that we are here, and we also been down that road. We have been through that journey of yours, and we are to support you. And I think that makes a big thing. And it's something that I noticed here in South Africa as well. Sometimes it's not always about throwing money at stuff. It's just showing support by being there is sometimes far greater than always giving money at something, because people can relate to you, Danny being there, watching them and cheering them on because you're a Paralympian, Tyrone being there, supporting them, Paralympian. Those are big things for them, you know, and that's what we need to realize, is that we all have a role. And that's what I learned personally from the Paralympics, is that I have a big role to play, and I'm a big guy, so I got a big voice. So I figured, why not use the voice? You know what I mean? So, and even though you might not be as big as me, I think your voice is as loud as mine.
I'm loud. I can be loud. Yeah.
that Spanish power there kind of thing, isn't it?
Yeah. Definitely.
So from a point of view of, I mean, I totally accept what you're saying, you know, that it's not all doom and gloom. Things are looking up. I mean, you started a long time ago, so you've seen the progress from when you first started to where you're at now. I mean, it's a lot better. I mean, a lot of people that I speak to say the same thing. You know, we're progressing as far as the Paralympics, and we're getting better and stuff like that. So I think that's really cool. What have you have to add on from that? I mean, what you've seen when you first started to where you're at now?
Well, for starters, when I started, I didn't even know that the Paralympics was a thing. I didn't know that there were para sports going on in the world. I honestly didn't even know other people with disabilities other than me. So I was very ignorant with the whole thing. In Argentina, well, this, like it or not, is a third world country, and in Argentina we didn't have, like, sports in general didn't have much support from anyone, and it was even worse. Like, even if, imagine if today there's a big difference, like 10 years ago it was even worse. And then suddenly we started having a lot more exposure, and then we were invited to some events, like, and we were treated as equals in some sort of ways. And suddenly I think London was amazing. I think what they did in the organization of London was amazing, because they did this whole thing about, like, superheroes, like superheroes.
Yeah.
And it was so incredible, because that made, like, suddenly there were big superstars in England, you know, and I think, like, everyone else in the world, like, well, with technology and social media and stuff, you can see each other, and suddenly, like, people in Argentina, maybe they weren't seeing us being from the same country, but suddenly they were seeing that there were big superstars, like super athletes, para athletes in other countries, and started to take a look at, well, what's going on in Argentina, and we started to get a lot bigger. But there's still a long way to go, I think. But we just need to do our part. I think that it comes from when you want to see a change in the world. It's not like you have to sit around the place. So there's still a lot of work to do towards the fight, because it is a fight, an everyday fight.
Yeah. And we can't give up. We got to keep the fight, you know, no matter what happens. We got to show the world what we're about, how this can grow. I mean, let's be honest, you and I might not be the generation. I know definitely not me, because I'm way too old, right? But I think the next generation, definitely, I think there's going to be a huge improvement for them. As long as we fight the fight, the pathway for the next generation is definitely going to be paved. And I think that's the important message, is that if we keep fighting the way we do, and we show who we are, and we show people what can be achieved. For example, I mean, I learned a lot along the way. And the more exposure there is on TV, for example, the more parents start to realize it. And when parents realize that, they get the kids involved. And then when the kids are involved, immediately we get more athletes getting involved. Yeah. So the sport starts to grow, right? Then people start to watch on TV, and then they realize, hey, maybe there's a sponsorship opportunity from banks, apparel companies, car manufacturers, whoever it might be. Immediately that brings up the financial aspect, which is what everybody wants at the end of the day. Everybody wants the finances behind it, because you want it to become professional. I mean, if I can tell you honestly, if I had some sort of financial backing when I first started, it would have made life so much easier, you know, rather than having to work full time and then try to train and to try and juggle everything. It's not the easiest thing, and not everybody's cut out to do it. Let's be totally honest. So, I mean, if you look at it now, I say, yeah, let's keep going. Let's keep driving this message and keep working hard to show people that we are the best at what we do. I don't think I'm better than an Olympian, and I'm sure you feel the same way. We all are equal. We all are same level. Everybody's doing the same thing. We're all on the same playing field.
Exactly. I mean, we train the same amount of time, and we do the exact same thing. So it's not more, it's not less. It's just equal. And there's a lot of inequality. So that's what we have to keep working towards. I think that it's not like, it's not fair that you say that it's not your generation that's going to change everything, because it is. You are already changing minds of the younger generation, and then they'll come up a lot stronger, and they will inspire the younger generations, and that's how it's
it's a constant.
Yeah, exactly. So I think that what you do, what I do, and what, like, not even just doing sports, like every time we speak up, what these tennis players did for the US Open, that's such as just speaking up, like, yeah, here I am, and this is injustice, and we're not gonna have it, and that's it.
Yeah, exactly.
So and I mean, today, it's gonna help younger generations that the US Open won't ever do that again.
Exactly. And I think that's the important message. I mean, I don't know if I ever told you the story, but when I got home from Rio, I wasn't allowed on board the plane because I had my prosthetic leg with me. And obviously I got angry, and I went onto Twitter, and I said some stuff on Twitter. And then from that day, I mean, long story short, from that day forward, the airline now allows you to carry your prosthetic leg on board quite easily. There's no issue. So, I mean, when you fight a cause, you fight because not only for yourself, but for everyone going forward. Because let's be honest, it's not about you. It's about a bigger picture at the end of the day.
I honestly, like, I'm stunned. I can't believe that even happened.
Yeah, the worst part was, obviously, it was as soon as we got back after Rio. Now, you know, you're on the hype. Everybody's paying attention to you because you won a medal, and they had this big ceremony and all of that kind of stuff. But obviously, somebody who didn't know the rules was trying to force the rule that they didn't know, effectively, in my opinion. And unfortunately, one thing led to another, and that's what happened. But out of that whole thing, the one thing that I asked was, we educate people. Yeah. Let's educate people so they understand what disability is. We have people that are blind or visually impaired. We have people that have cerebral palsy. We have people that need wheelchairs. We have all different types of disability. And I think that's the important message. Disability is not just one form. There's many. And the more we educate people around what disability is, the better it becomes.
Yeah, exactly. It's just educating people, because sometimes like there's a lot of people like that have like one cause, and they get super angry when they're talking to someone that doesn't understand yet. And I always think that the best way is just to educate people, to just change their perceptions, because what we do, what Paralympics do also, it's like it gives these disabled people representation, because suddenly when you watch a TV show or a movie or whatever, and luckily there's a disabled character in that film, they're always like, there's some sort of stereotype that they're like, they're insecure. They're sometimes like, I don't know, they make them like kind of ugly, and like it's a sort of thing that like make people realize that that's what it is, and that they can't, and that they're always struggling and some stuff like that. And it's no.
You know, I have to tell you one thing though, right? The one person I have to give a lot of credit to is The Rock. So you watched the movie Skyscraper?
No.
The Rock plays a disabled guy who uses a prosthetic leg in the movie.
Okay.
And he uses his prosthetic leg to like jump over, hold on, prevent him from falling over. It's amazing. If you get a chance, you got to watch it, right? And I think what he did there was he kind of showed people that, hey, it's kind of cool to have a prosthetic leg, or it's very cool to be different from somebody else, you know? And for a guy like The Rock to take on a role like that just shows what he believes and what he supports. And I always said I should have been his stunt double for that. Like, seriously, that was my moment to shine. They should have cast me as a stunt double.
But again,
only thing is, I'm not sure if I would have been able to shave
something about the hair. I will grow up. But no, but the other thing, like, even though that is amazing because that gives a lot of exposure, then suddenly, why can't they cast someone with a disability? You know, there's a lot of disabled roles in TV that are played, or most of them are played by non-disabled, like completely able-bodied people. Why? I'm pretty sure there are some disabled people that want to be in access.
Well, I asked that question to somebody, right, who was in the film industry, and they were not disrespectful when they said that, but the way they said it is, if, for example, they took The Rock out of that movie and they put me in, for example, will anybody come to watch it? You know, they think the draw card is the person, you know, the actor that you have who you built up. So then I turned around by saying, if you build that person up, like, let's say they put me as the actor, eventually I could get to that point where people want to come and speak with me. But the only way we can is unless you give somebody a chance. And that's what it boils down to at the end of the day. You got to give people a chance in order for you to understand what they're capable of doing.
Exactly. If you never put a disabled people in those roles, then they're never gonna have a chance to do anything. Just
totally agree with you.
Yeah.
So now that you've been stuck at home for a while, and I know obviously the numbers are starting to grow in Argentina and in South America in particular, and same with us here in South Africa. Obviously, COVID-19 is reaching up. So your normal training day, what is your normal training day pre COVID-19?
Okay.
What is that like?
Pre-lockdown. Normal day is just I usually, well, not usually, every day from Monday to Saturday I do 2 sessions a day. So if it's not 2 sessions inside the pool, it's 1 in the pool, 1 in the gym. And then it's like pretty much 2 hours each, and then it's pretty much my entire life, to be honest, because I'm always running. If it's not to physio, it's to massages, it's to therapy or stuff like that, and like all the hours I sleep, all the food that I eat, everything, it's towards sports. So pretty much I'm training 24/7. I live away from home, so I don't have my family around, but I have a beautiful family of friends here in Buenos Aires. So I think that it's very important for athletes for everyone to keep a as normal as you can your social life. So my house
Yeah.
is kind of like an open house. Everyone comes here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so this is like the headquarters. They actually call it like that. I know my friends, every time they're around, they just come here and stay over and stuff like that. So that helps me a lot to
Okay.
not stress out.
So it's more to break that stereotype of having to only think about training. So that gives you a little bit of a chill out, relax kind of vibe kind of
Yeah, even when I'm like, if I'm home and I have to go to bed super early, if there's one friend here and I'm just having dinner with her just for an hour or 2 hours, and then I go to bed, that just makes my day. So I always try to have that. But then, yeah, I really enjoy it, to be honest. Like I feel like I'm super lucky. I don't know about you, but I feel I'm super lucky to have the life that I have. And
Oh yeah, I think we're lucky people. Let's just put it that way.
yeah,
Not many people get to experience what we do and to love it and to enjoy it every single day. Have a smile on your face and say thank you for giving me this.
exactly. Sometimes when I'm super tired, and I just, because I do like to whine a little bit, but because I like to
just a little bit, just a little bit. Yeah, just a little bit.
because I like to be pampered, you know. Like I like saying, oh my god, I'm so tired. So my coach will come and just hug me and just yeah, we should jump in the pool. Or my friends to come over and stuff. But every time I'm like that, I was like, oh, I need a break. Every time I have a break, I'm just doing something. I'm training in some sort of way. So I can't complain, to be honest.
And it's food, right? Do you eat, like, do you pack everything before you go home for training, or you come back home, eat, and then you go back for training again? How do you do it?
I'm a little bit messy with food because I like cooking that much. But yeah, I do freeze a lot. I cook and then freeze it and then unfreeze it and cook it. So I get to do it a bit faster because sometimes I get home and it's already, I don't know, 1 p.m. and then I have to have a nap because at 4 p.m. I have to go back to school and stuff like that. So I try to keep food in my fridge all the time so I can have a quick meal and go to bed.
Okay. Yeah, because I was doing, obviously, pre-packing every day. I would have structured times and stuff, and then now it became a lot harder with the way things have churned around for me. So it's not that easy. So that's what I want to know from you, like, you know, like how you structured your day. I would get up in the morning. I would go to work, obviously, my life was. Then from work, I would go to gym. Then from gym, I would go to the track, and then I'd get back home. You know, it was a long day, and you know, you got to structure, plan everything. So I remember when I was working, I felt things were so much easier than now. Now I feel things are a little more complicated because I have too much time on my hand.
Well, yeah, because you're stuck inside all the time. But yeah, I think that when you have more stuff to do, you have to be more organized. Otherwise, you're eating a sandwich every day, and that's not healthy. And help for your training either. But yeah, because I live pretty close to the pool, then I can come back as many times as I need to. And I always have food here, or eventually after.
So just don't invite me over, because then there might not be enough food by the time you get back home, kind of thing.
Yeah, but that's what happens too. Like sometimes I get home, it's like I'm super lazy when it comes to the kitchen. So I just like order something. I have like some places that I already know that are like healthy and have good food.
Okay.
And just order something and then go to bed because I'm just so tired. But I realized that that's a lie, because now that I'm inside all the time and then I have all the time in the world to cook whatever I want, I still don't do it. So I just don't like it.
One thing, at least you're honest, right? At least you're completely honest with us. So what's your favorite Argentinian food?
My favorite Argentinian what?
Dish, something to eat. What would it?
So, do you have, because I know the word, because in Australia is very common, schnitzels?
Yes, we have that.
So that's very common here in Argentina, and I always have like kilos of schnitzels inside my freezer. So I just take one out in the oven. And I love that, but then I think, I don't know, what do I like? Giso. Well, now that it's very cold, gisos are like
Yeah.
stew, you know, with a lot of vegetables and meat and everything, kind of like a big stew, and it's super hot and it warms your heart.
So when we get to Tokyo, right, I'm taking you to have something called curry udon.
What's that? Is that South African or?
So it's a really big noodle. Like imagine a really big noodle, and it's got this curry paste on it, and it's like really warm, and it's got some nice spice in it. It's my favorite dish in Japan. I know people laugh at me because it's not like a really fancy dish or anything. It's amazing. You gotta try it. It's called curry udon. So when we get to Tokyo, that's something we're gonna try.
Take your word, you know, I'm not gonna.
Yeah, well,
I've been in
Japan.
but I do love to eat, so.
The best part about Japan is that there's so many places to eat at, right? You could walk in an alley and you could find like 40 or 50 eating places just in one little alley, because they have like little restaurants where it can take up to like 6 or 7 people. That's how they are. And it's like really, really cool. So, I mean, I've experienced quite a bit of their stuff, so I actually like it. I know when you get there, immediately everybody thinks, hey, hold on. This is not exactly traditional. You got to have sashimi, or you got to have this, you got to have that. And I'm like, nah, you know what? Curry udon, that's my thing. So definitely when we get there, that's what we're going to have.
And what are you going to feed me when I go to South Africa to learn how to surf?
Yeah, of course, you're going to have to learn how to surf.
But are you going to feed me there? What's the food in South Africa?
Well, we do this thing called a braai. It's like a barbecue. It's really our thing. South Africans love doing barbecue. It's like a lot of meat that they put onto like an open fire. Yeah. And they braai it out on there, and it's really, really good. So I'll do that for you guys.
You know, like right when you said that, like it's been so long since I had an asado, which is the barbecue here, that it's very common. Yeah. That I didn't even think of that. But God, I want an asado right now, because here, like barbecues here is like a cultural thing. So you get there early and you prepare something to eat first, like I don't know, some bit of cheese and ham and stuff like that, and olives, and you have your drinking, and there's someone in the grill just making the fire and doing the whole thing. It's just a cultural thing, and then you stay from 10 a.m. till 5 p.m. You know, it's
okay. Yeah. Well, it's almost the same thing for us as well. I think it's exactly the same thing for us as well. So I think from a cultural point of view, I think for us, the braai, which is like a barbecue, is exactly the same thing as you guys.
Cool. I'll feel like home.
And trust me, I have enough meat for at least 20 people. So don't you worry, there'll be enough food. Yeah. I kind of don't know how to shop. I shop a bit too much when it comes to food.
It's so difficult though. Like for me, it's so hard to buy food for just one person, just for me. Yeah.
But you said you get a lot of people coming to your flat, so obviously you're not buying just for one person then, right?
I still always have stuff here, but like usually my friends, they're like, oh, I want to, because they make really fancy dishes, or not fancy, but like with many stuff. So when they say, oh, I don't want to make this, I want to cook this, okay, just go get everything at the grocery store and I'll give you the money afterwards. That's easy even for that. I always have the bottle of wine though. That's whenever like everyone comes here, that's always here. But that's it.
Cool. So do you plan on any retirement anytime soon, or you kind of going as long as you can? What are you thinking?
No, not really. I always said that I want to leave sports. I don't want sports leaving me. So I want to have a good memory of it. I just don't want to get, because it's really difficult to to be an athlete and to be where you want to be as an athlete. So I've always thought of this, like I don't want to get frustrated. I had a couple of years where I was stuck in one time and I couldn't go down that, and it just frustrated me so much that I feel like I've been around for a long time now, and that's that's a good thing in me, because I'm still young in life. I'm a bit old maybe to be a swimmer, but but I'm not that young, and because I've done it since I was so little, I've studied, but not as much as I would like to study. So I think I'm very excited for what's coming after.
Okay, that's good. That's good.
After sports, I think I'll always be in some sort of like relationship with sports, whatever I do, because I love it, and because as we were talking before, if you want to see a change in something, then you have to do something about it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I think that there's a lot to do in para sports, but I'm not sure yet. I don't know when it's gonna happen. I know that after Tokyo, I'm gonna take things lighter.
Lighter and easier kind of thing.
Yeah, because right now I don't have the time to do anything else. I honestly have no idea how you did it, like working time. Like honestly,
yeah, there's something not right up here. That's why.
But that is insane. It's a super hard thing to do, and I don't know. I just want to just see what happens after Tokyo. I don't know when it's gonna happen, but yeah, I am looking at my retirement a lot closer than.
Yeah. You know, I thought about it, and my plan was to retire after Rio. I said I was going to do the World Championships in London, 2017, and then I was going to call it a day. And then obviously things changed, and this whole thing about Tokyo came about, and I was okay, let's do Tokyo. So I decided I'll do Tokyo. But there's one thing that's sitting on me that I'm not happy about. I don't think I'm going to be 100% leading into Tokyo, to be honest, because I feel I was doing so well with the build-up to get ready for Tokyo this year, and now the change to next year. And with our lockdown getting severe, and we don't know how it's going to be, we haven't even hit our peak as yet. So we're not sure what's going to happen and how it's all going to pan out. Say, for example, we only get allowed to start training in another 2 to 3 months' time. I've lost nearly 6 to 7 months of training. And one of the things that upsets me the most is that I'm not going to be at my best leading into Tokyo. So I have decided I'm going to stay on till Paris, and I'm going to bow out at the best and be the best. So that's me personally, because I don't believe that I'm going to be that great in Tokyo, because I don't feel at this current situation my training is where it should be to get there. And I know I'm not being negative about the whole thing. I'm just being positive. And one of the things I've always said is I want to be the best when I stop. And I'm sure you feel the exact same way. Whenever we stop, we got to be the best at it. And then you stop. You don't just stop when you're that struggling older guy who's battling to do things. I'm like, no, I'm going to keep going until I know I'm happy and I'm done. So yeah, totally agree with you and I accept what you said. So yeah, thank you.
The same thing happened to me. You know, I had a great 2019, and this year was so great for me. I was looking forward to Tokyo this year. And when the news about like Tokyo being postponed, when I heard that, I was so sad. I was like, there was a whole week of me just laying on that couch over there, watching that TV over there, just not finding motivation to do anything really. And then I felt very lonely because every time I talked to my coaches or my teammates or even my family, they were all, well, this is very good news because now you're going to have like proper time because of lockdown and blah, blah, blah. And I was like, no, this sucks. Like, I know that it was the right call, of course.
Yeah, I think for humanity, I think totally agree with you that was the right call. We had to do it. You know, we had to put the lives of people first, right? Without a doubt. So I'm not taking that away for a second, but postponement doesn't necessarily mean a good thing to athletes because you're planning your training periods specifically. And I mean, I don't know right now how things are in Argentina, whether you're allowed to train and do things. But like here, for example, we're not really allowed to do a lot of stuff. So immediately you completely lost. I mean, I can tell you how weak I feel right now. My shirt's actually, I mean, look at this. There's no space in here now. So yeah, so, you know, that's the thing. How are we going to build up again? And people who not in sport don't understand it, but there's phases in your training. And I think we were at a phase where we were peaking towards Tokyo. So now you have to readjust all of that. It's not the easiest thing in the world.
No. I think it's definitely going to cost me a good couple of months to get back on track.
Yeah.
And I'm not really sure, to be honest. I've never been outside of the pool for so long.
Yeah.
The last year, my holidays were like a week and a half, like 10 days, and that was it.
Yeah.
For doing the last bit of like the road to Tokyo, you know, and in swimming, you lose like sensibility with the water by the day, so it's gonna be very hard. And here is the same as there. Lockdown is very strict. You're not allowed to even drive your car without a special permission issued by the government. Okay. You have to go to the grocery store, like the nearest one to your house. You have to walk there, and there's that goes the difference between able bodies and disabled athletes. The Olympians are already training here. They already had their their permission issued by the government. They opened our national sports institute. That's where I train every day, and para athletes are not included in that. So we're still waiting.
But that's total discrimination, though. That's complete discrimination.
Yes, it is. They actually said it like before even doing it. They said it that we were going to go in like in the second stage, because there were a lot of Paralympians who need different stuff, and they won't be able to do like, because they wanted everyone who goes back to training, they needed them to be still with like social distancing. So there's a lot of para athletes that can't do that because they need someone assisting them at all times.
Okay. Like special support for somebody to be with them the whole time.
Yeah, but still, they had time to work it out. Like, I think that I'm not like, I feel like it is fair that we still don't even know, because it's not like, yeah, the first stage is gonna be this time and the second stage with para athletes is gonna be this day. Well, no, it's not like that. We don't know. And I was actually, because here, so Argentina is divided in provinces, and some provinces are like corona free, so they're all back to their normal lives, or as normal as they can be. So I was planning on going to a province without any cases to training. And well, they said, oh no, because you're gonna be able to train here in Buenos Aires. So I was like, well, I'm gonna spend a lot of money that I don't really have, and leave my house and everything, if I'm going to be able to train here. And then a couple of days later, they told us that, well, no, yes, you're going to be able to train, but we don't know when, because first they're going to be the permission for the Olympians, and so I don't know. I'm honestly have no idea when I'm going back to training, and it's driving me crazy, to be honest, because I
can imagine.
Yeah.
It's all you know doing, so that's what makes it harder. Now you're at a point where it's not your norm. You know, that's the thing that we faced with on a day-to-day basis right now. Our norms keep changing. We just gotta find ways to focus on what we can control and not on what we can't control. So that's my old man wisdom to you. Focus on what we can control.
Exactly. Because there's so much like that, and that makes me feel like mental, just like that, because I can't plan anything. Yeah, so I'm just training inside my house, and then I go out for a run every morning, because or every few mornings, because now everyone is able to go out for a run early in the morning.
But now, if you did track and field, you would have been better off than doing swimming, right? Just putting it out there. You know, if you wanted to come to track and field, now's a good time to do the switch over.
Yeah, I'm running. Yeah, it will be a good transition, you know, all this training.
I know Heinrich will love to teach you how to run. I can almost guarantee you that. So if you really say you want to run, Heinrich will be the guy that will want to teach you.
Yeah, but I'm sure we already talked.
Oh, don't worry, trust me. Heinrich's not that tall, eh? And that guy can run really quickly. So I'm pretty sure if you really want to run, that's your man. You can ask him to help you out there. He'll definitely put you on the right track.
If surfing doesn't work.
Maybe you should try at the next games to do another code. Like athletics, track and field, something like that, maybe.
Yeah, but athletics, it's so much work. It's so hard. It's like it's not going to be different than swimming.
There you go. Heinz says yes. Heinz saying no problem. He's going to definitely teach you. There you go.
Ah, there you go, Eric.
So quickly, we have 5 minutes left, right?
Okay.
So obviously, I know it's strict with the 1 hour time. So I'm just going to try and ask you, what advice would you give to people, especially athletes that want to get into sport, para-athletes, able-bodied athletes? What advice do you want? Oh my word, look at who's waving at us.
Felipe.
Mr. Felipe.
You're late, buddy.
Yeah, I think he just got up, I think.
Well,
Yeah, so what advice would you give to people? What would you say to them to inspire them, to get them into sport? And just give your advice.
well, I think just hearing both of us during this whole interview, it's just they can take a lot of things out of it, and the main thing is just accept yourself as just like you are, whatever it is, and work from them. I don't know, it's just like sometimes it's very scary to do something new, or to do something that you don't really know, and even worse when you have a disability and you feel insecure about it because a lot of people tell you that you can't. But the truth is, I can tell you, and you can tell them as well, is that you can. There's not much we can't do. I don't know, every time someone asks me what can't you do, and I'm like, oh, maybe just some notes in the flute, you know, because I'm missing some fingers. That's all I can think of, to be honest.
But I'm pretty sure if you put your mind to it, you could figure out a way to try and get around it. I know that for a fact.
Definitely.
That's not even an issue.
So there's nothing you can't do. Maybe it sounds a little bit cheesy, but I don't know. Sports it's a great thing. You learn so much from it. You said it. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you consistency and responsibilities, working towards your goals at a very young age. And then suddenly, when you have disabilities, just pushing your own boundaries and try to make it even better and better and better, and working with your disability to make it do everything you can and more. So that in life, even if you come and get to be a Paralympian or not, it's just amazing. And know your worth. That's it.
100%. Always know who you are, and don't back down. You know, you're an example of it. So are many other people that we come across every single day of our lives. I always say to them, we all have a story to tell. Go out, tell your story, be the best that you can be, and continue to be that shining beacon. I love you to bits. I think you're an amazing person. I think it was awesome to have you and have this interview with you. And I thank the Paralympics for giving me this opportunity to interview you. You're an amazing person. Stay as humble as you are. Stay as motivated as you are. And most importantly, don't ever forget who you are.
Oh.
So thank you so much.
You are a big teddy bear. I love you.
So stay as awesome as you are. And thanks again for being with me on this interview. Take care.
Thank you
See you.
for having me. Love you.